The lesson and the dynamic in this chapter was a great one, and it really kind of asks the question, should we mourn and move on or wallow in self-pity? Scared to do anything.
Naruto number 22, the enemies return.
Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Naruto Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome adventure-filled tale of Naruto. Our last chapter really saw, it really kind of saw Sasuke and Naruto being able to finally, climb the tree and hang upside down, and being able to, to properly, to properly be able to use their chakra, and really the end of it wound up being, we kind of seen that everything is going to come to a climax over here. We saw a brief flash at the end of Zabuza, and of course he's telling Haku to get ready. They're going to be coming to attack, and then we also know as well that Kakashi, of course, is feeling better and is definitely on the mend, and feels that he's close to, if not 100%. So that's where the chapter leaves off, and this one picks up. It's kind of cool because if you remember, Naruto, he wound up finding out about Inari's struggle and his past and everything, and pretty much just said, I'm going to dedicate myself to showing him that there are still heroes in this world. And it was one of the real profound moments so far for me in the series, because to take somebody that you don't know at all, or know very little of, and to go and kind of feel their plight and feel their pain and go, hey, listen, man, I want to help take some of that away from you, I think is a very commendable action. So just my 2 cents on that one. But this chapter winds up moving and flying by really quickly. The first several pages of it are Naruto and Sasuke come back from training, and Sasuke's pretty much like holding Naruto up. He goes hard every time, man. He's going, you know what I mean? If the average guy is given 100% and the go-getter is given 120, Naruto is given 150, right? He's given my percentage, your percentage, his percentage, he's definitely given it his all and then more. So he's just completely wiped out, and as he comes in there and they kind of sit down and everything like that, Inari comes out, and he's been watching this whole thing transpire over the last several days, and Naruto, of course, just working himself to the bone. And he just flips out, right? He's an angry, hurt kid, and on one hand, I just want to slap the shit out of him. But on the other hand, I understand, too, because he's young and just the loss that he's felt and everything else. Obviously his stepfather, surrogate father, whatever you want to call him, being executed in front of him, that's something that no kid should ever have to deal with, So it's one thing when you're getting older and a parent, gets older and starts to die of, I guess, what you would call natural causes, or you see it coming. But that was something that this kid didn't deserve. He didn't see coming. Nonetheless, though, he still acts like a real little shit. And basically goes and starts yelling at Naruto, telling him that, he's cocky and he's brash and there is no heroes and he's never going to be strong enough to beat Gato's men, and, and just kind of lays everything on him. And really a lot of it is just, I understand this because I have kids myself, and because there's many times in my life that I've been hurt, by something that's happened. And it's like you lash out with this anger at others, and many times you're lashing out at the wrong person is what you're doing. You need to find out different ways of being able to vent that anger rather than just attacking somebody. But he doesn't know he's a kid, just goes after Naruto, verbally. And Naruto goes and finally is just like, you know what? Screw you, you entitled little brat. You know what? Yeah, get over it, okay? Your father got killed, Don't sit around in the corner crying about it. And he's kind of trying to, in my opinion, he's kind of trying to say, listen, stop being a whiny little bitch about it and do something. Do something about it. You know what I mean? Stop talking about what you can't do and worry about what you can do. And that's kind of, that's definitely, for me, that's what I got from the chapter so far. So, anyway, Inari goes storming out. Kakashi goes out and has a talk with him and sits down and explains to him. It's so funny because he's like, Naruto means well and this and that. He just lacks finesse. That was one of the best lines for me in the whole chapter, because I was just like, yeah, that's true, He's very raw with his emotion. He's very blunt and straightforward, and this is the point, and if you don't get it, I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. This is how it is, So, anyway, Kakashi goes on to explain to Inari that, he says, Naruto grew up without a father. Matter of fact, he grew up without knowing either parent, and has no friends, and really just, tries to do nice things in the hope that he'll be noticed or maybe get a pat on the back. Really just a kind word, He's, he's very much this driven individual, but, in the time that I've known him, I've never seen him cry, so I can only imagine that at some point he just stopped crying and realized he's trying to explain to him that, at some point you got to stop feeling sorry for yourself, Okay, at some point you got to stop it. There's, yes, there's a mourning period and phase and everything else, but eventually you're going to have to get past it and realize that you can't change the past, and you can only change what's going to happen in the future and live in the present, And I thought that was a great lesson. So we wind up going in the Naruto he winds up passing out for the night. We see the next morning comes across, and because Sasuke and Naruto have been doing so well, Kakashi had said that, hey, starting tomorrow you can go and guard Tazuna, right? So the next morning, Tazuna's going to go off, and Sakura and Sasuke are with him, but not Naruto. And they ask what's going on. He says he's still sleeping, and Kakashi just plans on giving him the day off, Well, so they go off, and they're heading off to the bridge, Tazuna's excited. The bridge, he says, is almost done. There's obviously all these great things that are going to come to the town, to the area, with the trade and everything else that'll open up with this bridge. And we wind up seeing at some point too, we wind up seeing this Gato, and Gato goes and he's basically he calls up Zabuza, and he's like, hey, come on, is the hit ready? So we know that Zabuza is going to leave, and he's going to be on his way to probably meet up with them or whatever the case is, and try to head them off and finish the job that he was hired for. But nonetheless, though, Naruto wakes up in a panic, and Tsunami is there, and she's like, oh, yeah. He's like, what the hell? Why'd they leave without me? And she's like, well, you've been working so hard that Kakashi decided to give you the day off. And he's like, oh, damn it, first chance they get, they ditch me. So Naruto's like, I'm out, and he just goes, and he takes off, and he's running towards them, to try to meet up with them. So then we go and we see, obviously Tazuna, Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura, and they all come upon where the bridge is, and there's a bunch of workers that are laying there beaten up or dead, maybe, I'm not really sure, and Tazuna's like, what the hell happened here? And then all of a sudden some mist starts coming in and everything else, so they all kind of start getting in a circle, like back to back, looking around for where the enemy is at, and Kakashi's like, son of a bitch, he's like, I knew it, I knew that Zabuza was still alive, right? I knew that this guy wasn't a one and done type of deal, So, at any rate, they're kind of waiting for the attack, and you see Sasuke, and it looks like he's trembling, He's sitting there, and his hand is shaking, And then Zabuza actually goes and says, oh, and we're meeting again, and this and that, and, it looks like you brought the brats with you again, and look, the one's still trembling with fear or whatever, and Sasuke is like, oh, no, I'm just trembling with excitement, because I'm going to beat your ass I'm getting ready for the rematch, right? and whether he's scared or not, it doesn't matter, because it's still acting as if he's playing it out like, hey, you know what, that may be the case, but you don't know that, I'm not going to let you know that. But it's kind of cool, though, because Zabuza winds up creating a bunch of clones around them and what have you, and kind of surrounding them. And it's cool because then Kakashi goes and he basically just goes and, he takes the leash off the dog, so to speak, with Sasuke and just says, hey, have at it, brother, So Sasuke's like, does this attack and winds up taking out all the clones, and then can sense where the actual Zabuza is, 20, 30, 40 feet down the bridge or what have you in front of them. So it's kind of cool because the chapter ends off with, with Zabuza saying, oh, yeah, well, you managed to get through my doppelgangers, my clones, right? And then he's like, but now are we ready? And he goes and it shows it's a picture of him, and it's pretty cool. Here he goes. What does he say? He goes, well, man, doppelgangers are probably no match for you. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it seems the brats have matured quite a bit into worthy rivals. Eh, Haku? And then Haku's like, indeed. And it's so funny just because you see, like, this, 12, 14-year-old boy that we found out, and it's like half the size of Zabuza, and I know that size differential doesn't really matter coming from some of the other things that I've read, but it's just like you see that, and it's like it's harder for me to take serious a person that's only like 4 feet tall, but I know that I wouldn't want to be facing off against this dude either. So, very cool chapter. That's where things leave off, though. And really, my chapter question for you is really, what are your thoughts on Inari and the way he was acting? Do you think it's justified, or do you think that, hey, man, it's high time that you act like Naruto and you get over this shit and you try to make some positive come out of this instead of dwelling on the past and the negative? And there's going to be there's going to be really two different viewpoints now. There's going to be the people that are just kind of like rooted in living with the past and living into the negative and focusing on that. And then there's going to be the people that are like, you know what, bad things happen, but you do have to be able to get back on the horse, so to speak, figuratively, and move forward, right? So let me know what your thoughts are, though, in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button, if you should think that I deserve it. And subscribe if you haven't done so already. We look forward to catching all of you in the next Fun Nation. Chakra, motherfucker! Do you use it? Sorry for my bad Samuel L. Jackson impersonation, but you get the idea.